Let's start. Now, before we start with the questions, I just would like to remind everybody of the house rules. Number one is I want you to always mute your microphone so that your classmates won't be disturbed while I am discussing. Number two is always turn on your cameras. And then number three, listen attentively. Now, one more rule. I can observe that you're chatting so much in the chat box. As much as possible, I want you to listen attentively. So I prohibit or please do not chat anything unnecessary in the chat box. Do you understand? Okay. Since there are a lot of you here, there are 136 of you in this class, so I want everybody to please cooperate. Okay? All right, let's start. Yes, Gabrielle, do you have a question? Do you have a question? You, sige.
I only answered the paper version, not the clav. Is that okay or no?
What?
I only answered the paper version.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
All right, let's start with logical thinking. If today is a Monday, which day of the week will it be 285 later? Ano ba tong grammar na to? If today is Monday, which day of the week will it be 285 days later? Okay, so what we need to do here is very easy. We need to divide 285 by how many days in a week? There are 7. 285 divided by 7 will give me 40, remainder 5. This means you have 40 weeks and 5 days after Monday. You know that 40 weeks after Monday is still Monday. So 5 days after Monday would be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The answer here is Saturday. Do you understand? Number two, if we add 2 to end this age this year, the sum is then divided by 3. 5 is then subtracted from the quotient, and finally the difference is multiplied by 4. The result will be 12. How old is Andy this year? If we add 2 to Andy's age this year, the sum is divided by 3. 5 is then subtracted from the quotient, and finally the difference is multiplied by 4. The result will be 12. How old is Andy this year? Now, in problems like this, we just need to back solve. Let's start with the answer. Since you multiplied the difference by 4, we will divide 12 by 4. We'll do the opposite. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 5 is subtracted from the quotient. So this 5 here will be added to 3. So 3 plus 5, that's 8. The sum is then divided by 3. Ay, wait. Okay. So the sum is then divided by 3. So the opposite of divide is multiply. So this 8 here will be multiplied to 3, which is 24. And then the opposite of adding 2 would be subtracting 2. So 24 minus 2, the answer is 22. Do you understand? Okay, number 3. According to the pattern shown below, what should be the number filled in the blank? We have 5, 9, 17, 33, 65, 129, 257. What's the pattern here? Who can tell me the pattern here? Okay, Nguyen Tuan Dong. What's the pattern?
Um, the is 513.
Yeah, but how do you get the answer? What's the pattern?
Is
From 5 to 9, the
there
difference is
is
4.
4. From 9 to 17 is different is 8.
Okay,
From from 17 to 33 is
16.
16. Then from 33 to 65 it will be 32. And from 65 to 129 it will be 64. From 129 to 257 it will be 128.
So from
And
257 to blank, it should be
56.
256. Now, adding 257 plus 256, you will get 513. In, in every progression, as your
Is
pattern
times 2.
progresses, it multiplies by 2. Thank you. Very good. Next, according to the pattern shown below, how many asterisks are there in the 87th group? That's actually kind of very easy. On the first group, you have 1. On the second group, you have 2. On the third group, you have 3. On the fourth group, you have 4. It's very easy. Therefore, on the 87th group, you will have 87. Very easy. There are a total of 60 chickens and rabbits on a farm. The animals have a total of 160 legs. How many chickens are there in the farm? Now, I'm going to teach you the shortcut on how to do this one. Since you are asked to find the number of chickens, you assume that all of the 60 animals here are all rabbits. You always assume the other animal. Now, if you have 60 rabbits, then you will have a total of 240 legs, correct? If you have 60 rabbits, you have a total of 240 legs. Now, the actual total number of legs is 160. So 240 minus 160, that is just 80. That's the difference between the number of legs. Next, you divide 80 by the difference of the number of legs between a rabbit and a chicken. A rabbit has 4 legs, a chicken has 2 legs. That is just 80 divided by 2. Therefore, there are 40 chickens. Do you understand? Is this clear? Next number. It requires 20 minutes to cut a piece of wood into 5 sections. If the time required to cut a piece of wood into 2 is the same, how many minutes are required to cut a piece of wood into 10 sections? You can only cut one piece of wood into 2 at any given cut. Okay. Let's focus on the first sentence. 5 sections require 20 minutes. Now, in order for you to have 5 sections, you need 4 cuts, correct? You only need 4 cuts to have 5 sections. That would mean the 20 minutes there is good for 4 cuts. So 20 divided by 4, that's 5 minutes per cut. So 1 cut is good for 5 minutes. Now, you are asked to find how many minutes would it take for you to cut the same piece of wood into 10 sections. So 10 sections would require 9 cuts. Since you know that a cut requires 5 minutes, then 9 cuts would take 9 times 5, which is 45 minutes. Do you understand? Okay? Okay. Let's proceed to the next category. Arithmetic. Find the value of 34 plus 40 plus 46 plus 52 plus 58 plus 64 plus 70 plus 76 plus 82. Now, as what you can observe, this is an arithmetic sequence, right? This series of numbers is an arithmetic sequence with a common difference of 6. Now, we have 2 ways to solve for this one. We can use the formula for solving the sum of an arithmetic sequence, or we can do pairing. If we pair 34 and 82 first, what will we get? That's 116. If you pair 40 and 76, that is also 116. If you pair 46 and 70, That's the same, 116. Pairing 52 and 64, you will get 116 plus the remaining 58. Or this is just 116 times 4 plus 56. 116 times 4 is 464. If you add the 56, you will get 520. Why is your answer 522? It's just 520. Ah, sorry. 58 pala. Okay. It's 58 here. So it's 522. Thank you for that. Okay, is this clear? Next, find the value of 18 times 8 plus 6 times 24 plus 2 times 288. Okay, so in problems like this, you can follow MDAS or use distributive laws, distributive property. Now, 18 times 8 here is just equal to 6 times 3 times 8. 6 times 24, that's just 6 times 24. And then 2 times 288 is just the same as 2 times 48 times 6. You have a common factor of 6, so you can factor that out. That's 6 times 18, 24. This is 96. So you have 18 plus 24 plus 96. That is equal to 138. When you multiply 6 and 138, you will get 828. Wait, saan ako mali? Where did I go wrong? Ah, okay, wait. 3 times 8 is not 18. That's 24. So the total here is 96 plus 48. That's 144. And 144 times 6 is 864. Okay? Is this clear? All right, let's proceed to the next number. Find the value of 245 times 247. Now, in this number, you can actually express this one as a difference of two squares. 245 is actually just 246 minus 1, correct? And 247 is just 246 plus 1. Now, this form here is actually equal to 246 squared minus 1 squared. So, when you multiply 246 by 246, you will get 60,516 minus 1 squared, which is 1. The answer is 60,515. Clear? Is this clear? All right, let's proceed to the next number. Find the value of 55,555 times 5,555. Find the value of 55,555 times 5,555. Okay, how do you do this? Okay, so you have many ways to do this one. You know that 55,555 is just equal to 5 times 11,111. And 5,555 is equal to 5 times 1,111. If you rewrite that, you will have 5 times 5 times 11111 times 1111. Correct? 5 times 5 is 25. And then if you multiply 11,111 by 1,111, what will you get? You will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then multiply them. 25 times that would be 308,608,025. That's the answer. Okay, next. Find the value of 14 divided by 9 plus 53 divided by 9 plus 29 divided by 9 minus 33 divided by 9. Now, in problems like this, what you need to do is just, I would like, I usually teach my students to convert it into fractions because it will be much easier to solve. 14 divided by 9 is actually just the same as 14 over 9. 53 divided by 9 is just 53 over 9. 29 divided by 9 is just 29 over 9 minus 33 over 9. Now, since they all have the same denominators, we can operate on the numerators. So we have 14 plus 53 plus 29 minus 33. You will get 63 over 9. And you know that 63 divided by 9 is simply 7. That is the answer. Do you understand? Next, find the value of 143 times 182.
42 times 180 plus 142 times 2.
So in problems like this, we will make use of the distributive law. 143 times 182 is simply 143 times 180 plus 143 times 2. 143 times 180 is 25,740 plus 143 times 2 is 286. When you add them, you will get 26,026. Ano? Understood? All right. Next, we have number theory. Given the sum of integers a and b is 323 and a is 16 times of b, what is the value of a? Okay. Converting the first sentence into a mathematical equation, we have a plus b equals 323. And a is 16 times of b. What is the value of a? Now, this a here will be substituted with 16b. So you will have 16b plus b equals 323. Or that's just 17b equals 323. Or b is, what's 323 divided by 17? That's equal to 19. Therefore, the value of a, since a is just 16 times b, that's 16 times 19. Or a is equal to 304. Understood? Is this clear? All right. Next, we have this one. Defined in the operation symbol below, determine the value of 8, symbol 6, symbol 10. So what you need to do here is you focused first on the parentheses. So we have 6 symbol 10. So that would be 5 times your A is 6 minus your B is 10 minus 7. Or that's just 30 minus 3. Or 27. Since the value of the parenthesis is 27, then we have 8 symbol 27. So that would be 5 times A or 5 times 8 minus 27 minus 7. That's 40 minus 20. The answer is 20. Next, how many two-digit positive numbers divisible by both 6 and 9 are there? Now take note of the conjunction that has been used. It's and. When we see and there, what we need to do is, first, we get the LCM of 6 and 9. The LCM of 6 and 9 is 18. Then, you will look for the number of two-digit positive numbers divisible by 18, which are 18, 36, 54, 72, and 90. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The answer is 5. Do you understand? Okay? Is this clear? All right, let's proceed. The sum of 7 consecutive numbers is 91. Find the smallest number among them. So when you are asked to find the numbers of consecutive numbers which has a specific sum, what you need to do is just directly divide the sum by how many numbers you added. In this case, there are 7. 91 divided by 7 is 13. Now, 13 means that this is your middle number. If you have 7 consecutive numbers, 13 is the fourth. Since they are consecutive, then the numbers here would be 12, 11, and 10. Here would be 14, 15, and 16. Since you are asked for the second smallest, the answer is, you are asked for the smallest, the answer is 10. Do you understand? Is this clear? Okay. Next, how many two-digit numbers are there that either divisible by 4 or divisible by 7? So since two-digit is what you're looking for, the largest two-digit number is 99. You divide that by 4. Then add all the numbers divisible by 7. Then subtract the numbers divisible by the LCM of 7 and 4. The LCM of 7 and 4 is 28. Do you follow? We're not done yet. The answer to this would be all the numbers from 1 to 99. So you need to subtract the one-digit numbers. For the one-digit numbers, the largest is 9. Divide that by 4 again. 9 divided by 7 minus 9, divide that by the LCM of 7 and 4, which is 28. Now, the answer will be all two-digit numbers. "99 divided by 4, that's 24. You don't need the remainder here. You only need the whole number part. 99 divided by 7, that would be 14. And then 99 divided by 28, that would be 3. Minus 9 divided by 4, that's 1. That's 2. 9 divided by 7, that's 1. 9 divided by 28, that's 0. So when you add them, 24 plus 14, that's 38, minus 3, minus 2 plus 1 is 3. Or that is just equal to 32. Okay? Do you understand? Okay. Then let's proceed to the next number. Find the unit digit of 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 multiplied 24 times 8 times 8 times 8 times 8 multiplied 24 times. So that would be just 4 to the power of 24 times 8 to the power of 24. Now, the unit digit of this from unit digit cycles, you know that the unit digit cycle for 4 is always 4, then 6, then 4, then 6. It comes back. And the unit digit cycles for 8 would be 8, 4, 2, 6. So this one has 2 repeating terms. This one has 4. So what you need to do is just divide 2024 by 2 for this one. And this one, 2024 divide by 4. This one is divisible by 2. This one is divisible by 4, so there has no remainder. Since there are no remainders, that would mean that the unit digit of this one would be 6, and the unit digit of 8 to the power of 2024 would be also 6. When you multiply 6 and 6, the unit digit is still 6. Very easy. All right. Now, before we proceed to geometry, we can have a break. Do you have any questions before we have a break? Okay. If you don't have any more questions, then let's have a 10-minute break. You can eat your snacks, eat your lunch, drink water, go to the CR, just be back after 10 minutes. Is that clear? Okay, see you after 10 minutes. Okay, let's continue. All right. Given the lengths of legs of a right-angled triangle are 16 and 30 respectively, find the length find the length of the hypotenuse of the right-angled triangle. Okay. So if you have a right-angled triangle, say this one, the legs are 16 and 30. The hypotenuse is this one. To get that, we will use the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem states that the hypotenuse squared is just equal to the sum of 16 squared and 30 squared. So h squared is equal to what? What is 16 squared? 16 squared is 256. 30 squared is 900. Therefore, h squared is 1,156. Now, h squared is equal to 1,156. That would mean that h is equal to the square root of 1156. The square root of 1156 is 34. Therefore, the value of h is 34. Next, a pyramid has 16 faces. How many edges does this pyramid have? Now, for pyramids, remember that the number of edges is equal to the number of faces minus 1 times 2. So if you have 16 faces, that would mean that the number of edges would be 16 minus 1 times 2. Or that is just 15 times 2. Therefore, the number of edges is 30. Okay? You just remember this formula. Mm. 16 small squares of perimeters 52 are combined to form a large square. What is the area of the large square? Now, since you have 16 of that, in order for you to create a big square, you will arrange them like this. You will arrange the squares in this manner into a 4 by 4 arrangement. Now, since one square has a perimeter of 52, then this one here would be 52 divided by 4. Fifty-two divided by 4 is 13. That would mean that one side of small square is 13. This is 13. This is 13. This is also 13. Then one side of the big square is just 13 times 4, which is 52. Since you are asked to find for the area, then remember that the area is just s squared. The side is 52, so that's 52 squared, or that's just 52 times 52. The area of the large square is 2,704. Next, given the perimeter of a rectangle is 116 and the side lengths of the rectangle are integers, what is the largest possible area of the rectangle? Now, in order for you to get the largest possible area, what you need to do is form the rectangle as close as possible to a square. Now, you know that the perimeter of that rectangle is 116. Remember that perimeter is equal to 2 times the length plus width. Or that's just 116 is equal to 2 times the length plus width. Or the length plus width should be equal to 116 divided by 2. Which is 58. So the length plus width is 58. How can you make that a square? To make that a square, you will set the values of your length and width to be equal. That would mean your L is 29. Your width is 29. Do you follow? Therefore, the area would be length times width, or that is equal to 29 times 29, which is equal to 841. Next, how many rectangles containing the asterisk are there in the figure below? So what you need to do there is you consider this one this rectangle here as 1. Then you go up, that's 2, 3. You go to the right, 2, 3, and 4. You go down, 2, 3. You go to the left, 2. Then you will multiply the outermost numbers. That would be 3 times 4 times 2 times 3, which is 96. No. 72. Next, okay, next number. Given the area of a rectangle is 180 and the side lengths of the rectangle are integers, how many different possible values of the perimeter of this rectangle are there? Since the area, remember that the area of a rectangle is given by A, that's length times width. So what you need to do is just get how many factors 180 has. Remember that 180, the prime factorization of 180 is what's the prime factorization of 180? That's 2 squared times 3 squared times 5. Therefore, the total number of factors for 180 would be 2 plus 1 times 2 plus another one times this one plus 1. Or that's just 3 times 3 times 2. Or 18. Fam and Kai, please stop doing that. Continuing, we have, since the total number of factors for 180 is 18, then we need to divide that into 2. Because you have length and width. That's 2 values. So 18 divided by 2, the answer is 9. And we're down to the last category for this class. The flight of stairs has 8 steps. Julian can go up 1 step or 2 steps at a time. How many different ways are there for her or for him to go up the stairs? Since there are 8 steps, you have one, the first step, second step, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then eighth. To go to the first step, you only have one way by going one step at a time. To go to the second step, you have two ways. You either go one step at a time or you directly go to two or to the second step. Now, to get to the succeeding steps, you don't need to count them manually. You just add the two preceding steps. For the third step, that's 1 plus 2, that's 3. For the fourth step, that's 2 plus 3 equals 5. For the fifth step, that's 5 plus 3, and it's 8. For the sixth step, that's 8 plus 5, that's 13. For the seventh step, that's 13 plus 8, 21. So to get to the eighth step, that's 21 plus 13. The answer is 34. Do you understand? Next, if we separate 10 numbers from 0 to 9 into two groups of 5 numbers and combine the numbers in the same group to form two 5-digit numbers, what is the smallest possible difference of these two 5-digit numbers? Who can tell me the two numbers that are being subtracted here? What are the two numbers? The two numbers can be 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 9, 8, 7, 6. Is this right? And then, subtracting them, you will get 247. Next, given that the total weight of 3 lemons and 4 pineapples is 1,450 grams, and the total weight of 4 lemons and 3 pineapples is 1,350 grams, how many grams does 1 lemon and 1 pineapple weigh? So we have 3 lemons. I'll just write 3L for that. And 4 pineapples, that's 4P, is equal to 1,450. And then 4 lemons plus 3 pineapples, that is equal to 1,350. Do you follow? Do you follow? Now, look, if you add the values of the two, you will have 7 lemons and 7 pineapples. That is equal to 2,800. Correct? So what you just need to do is now, but we have 7L and 7P, so that's just equal to 7 times a lemon plus a pineapple. That's equal to 2,800. If you divide it by 7, you will get a lemon plus a pineapple would have a weight of 400. Okay? Next, if each of the 30 students in class 4A exchanges books with each other, at least how many exchanges are there? If each of the 30 students in class 4A exchanges books with each other, at least how many exchanges are there? Now you imagine yourself as one of the students in this class. Let's say you are student A. If you are student A, how many exchanges would you have to do in order for you to have an exchange with all other students in the class? You need to exchange with 29 other students, correct? Because you have 29 classmates. Now, following with student B will now have an exchange with 28 na lang. 28 because student A and B already had an exchange here. We already counted their exchange in 29. Continuing that, you will have 29 plus 28 plus 27 plus 26 until 1. Now, this is an arithmetic sequence with a common difference of 1. So what you need to do is just get the sum. So sum is equal to the average. The average is 29 plus 1 over 2. And the number of terms, of course, that's the numbers from 1 to 29. So the number of terms is 29. So that's just 15 times 29. Then the number of exchanges would be 435. Next. How many three-digit odd numbers are there such that the number does not contain the digits 0, 5, or 7? So three-digit odd numbers that has no 0, no 5, or no 7. Okay. So the available digits would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 9. These are the only available digits since you cannot use 0, 5, or 7. Then, since you are asked to find how many three-digit odd numbers, so that's three blanks. This stands for the units digit. This stands for the tens. This one is for Now, since you are asked to find odd numbers, then the only digits that you can put in the units are 1, 3, or 9. You have 3 digits for that. Now, the problem does not require you to have non-repeating digits. So you can repeat the digits. That would mean you can put 7 here in the hundreds and 7 here on the tens. So you will have 7 times 7 times 3, a total of 147 3-digit odd numbers. Next, there are a total of 30 chickens and rabbits on a farm. So this is actually kind of similar to the problem in logical thinking, right? Actually, they're the same. They will have the same solution. So there are a total of 30 chickens and rabbits on a farm. The animals have a total of 70 legs. How many rabbits are there? So, as what we did earlier, since you are asked to find the number of rabbits, then you will assume that all 30 here are chickens. If you have 30 chickens, that would mean the total number of legs is 60. Then you will subtract the actual to 70 minus 60. The difference is 10. And then you will divide 10 by the difference of the number of legs of a rabbit and the number of legs of a chicken. So that's just 10 divided by 2. Therefore, there are 5 rabbits. Do you understand? Is this clear? Okay, that's it. We're done. So thank you guys for listening. I hope that you will be ready for your competition next week. So bye everyone. Good luck and God bless.